We're going to find out right now the mystique behind the Harriers. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to be talking to my man, Jay.
Before we go to the hotline, how did you find out about the Harriers? What made you?
I was on the internet. I can't even remember.
You were surfing porn.
I was searching porn,
right,
and just stumbled across the Harriers. She said on weed, searching porn, and all of a sudden,
when you seen hash, you wasn't thinking that it was.
Right, he was like hash.
But when I read up on it, anyway, bottom line is when I read up on it, man, very interesting stuff, man. You're talking about drinkers with running problems. And here to talk to us on the hotline, we have Mr. Jay Seagal, who is an original hasher, founder of the Santa Barbara Hashers. How you doing, Jay?
I am very well, Errol. How are you today?
Man, absolutely wonderful. We're also sitting here with Kenyon Johnson and Kenya Huff joining us here on Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Now, take us back. Tell us about hashers real quick. Explain to the people, all our listeners out there, what is a hash?
Well, traditionally, we are known as a running club with a drinking problem.
That sounds fun.
It is. Hashing has been around for a seriously long time, since actually December of 1938 is when it formally came into existence, back in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So you guys have been drinking tough since 1938. Now you said now people out there that may not understand when you say runners, what's the length that you guys run before? I guess you run and then drink?
Yeah, we'd like to combine exercise with a healthy consumption of whole food, which is beer. And beer's got water in it, too.
Exactly. So do you guys run? I mean,
take us through a hash.
Do you guys like run and at the same time somebody's on the side of you giving you a 40 ounce of OE or?
No, it's not exactly like that.
Okay, well, that would make it even better.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Funny,
grabbing cups of beer while you're running and see how far you can get.
Well, take us through it. Take us through
a hash.
Well, traditionally, the hash, it's based on the old British hare and hounds game. And essentially what happens, you'll have anywhere between 5 and, I don't know, sometimes up to 60 people show up for a hash.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beginning, everybody stands around, congregates, says hello, talks. It's very social. Mm-hmm. And then a whistle will blow, and that means the hares are out. And by that, I mean there is 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 people who are what we refer to as laying trail. And they'll take off traditionally with a bag of flour, and they will leave on the side of the road plops of flour about every 700 to 1,000 feet. And they get a 15-minute head start. And the rest of the people who are not the hares stand around and continue to drink beer and socialize. And once that 15-minute once that 15-minute mark is reached, another whistle goes, and that means that runners are out. And then we all take off and
follow the
trail of flour that has been laid for us. And it needs to be understood that the people laying the trail are intentionally trying to confuse the pack, giving them enough time to get to wherever the end of the trail is. None of us know where that happens to be.
Right.
Wow.
Where'd the flour come in? Who thought of the flour?
1938.
Well, it's based on an old British game, a boys' game that was known as the Hare and Hounds, and it started back in 1867.
Wow.
As far as anybody has been able to uncover so far. And you lay a trail, and then you try to get the people to follow you, and along the trail you make diversionary roads and false trails and switchbacks and all manner of things to confuse the pack, giving you more time to get to the end of the trail. And one of the things that you do is to leave a couple, 3 or 4 six-packs of beer along the side of the trail, and that's known as a beer check.
That is hilarious.
When the people catch up to the beer check, everybody stands around, has a beer or 2, and then proceeds on down the trail. And what makes this fun is that there are usually 3, 4, 5 beer checks.
Oh, wow.
So this isn't like a speed race. This is like.
No, we're not even allowed to use that R word. This is definitely not one of the R words. We do run, but there's no winning. There's no placing. There is what are known as, the really fast people are known as FRBs.
What's that?
What does that stand for?
Which are, pardon me?
What does that stand for?
Uh-oh.
It stands for front-running people with no father.
Oh,
We can say that front-running
that
bastards.
is wonderful.
Front-running bastards, right? There we go.
And then, yes. And then usually the last person in, and there's always a last person or 2 or 5 people in, depending on how much beer they've consumed. Those are known as DFLs, which are dead freaking last.
Wow.
How do I sign up for
Wait a
this
minute,
event?
wait a minute. Listen, Kenya. Take us to the end of the event when you get back to the bar, and what happens there?
Well, once we get back, and we generally tend to congregate in the summer, we generally tend to congregate in open places like in a park or under a bridge or in a gutter. And once everybody arrives, there is a process that we go through known as religion, where when you're out on trail with the rest of the pack, people notice that you do this or that or something else, and you are cited for having committed a hash crime. And the penalty for a hash crime is to have to come up in front of everybody and drink a beer.
More beer.
So that
Wow.
the penalty is not really a penalty, it's a privilege.
So what type of beer do you guys consume? It doesn't matter what type of beer, or is it a sponsor?
Well, it would be easier to answer that question by saying as many kinds of beer as they make.
He said everything.
Well,
now there's also
any kind of beer. It's good. All beer is good.
so there's also a process with naming rights when you're given a name and stripped of your mortal name. Could you explain that?
Sure. If you traditionally, if you're invited to a hash, you attend anywhere between 5 and 10 hashes. Some kennels have a run every other week. Some kennels have a run every week. It just depends on where you happen to be, what city you're in, the tradition that goes along with your particular kennel. And once you have completed somewhere between 5 and 10 runs,
right?
There is a naming committee formed, and everybody, 15, 20 people, 10 people get together. And since you have run somewhere between 5 and 10 consecutive runs, we feel that we know enough about you to make up a name that may or may not have anything to do with who you are, what you know, or how you behave. It could be very, very true, or it can be completely made up and false and a total lie.
Now,
Wow.
what's your name, and explain why you have that name?
I didn't think you were going to go there. Okay, my name is Princess Blowjob. Now I have to bet that conjures in your head a particular scenario of some sort, and I assure you that the story about it is much less along the lines of whatever's floating around in your beer-rotted brain.
All right.
I was at a hash. It was about the 3rd or 4th one, something like that, and it was very late at night. And we were at a couple of hashers who hosted the event. And I got up to go to the bathroom, and as I walked out of the bathroom, there was this huge horn hanging on the wall. And I turned to the hostess of the party, and I asked her if it would be okay if I tried to get the horn to make a noise, and she said, sure. So as I walked into the living room, before I could get anything out of it or even try, it was snatched from my hands. So I went back to the laying down in front of the television to watch TV, and it went around the room, and finally somebody kicked me in the back of the head and handed me the horn back, and after it went around the room, nobody had been able to make any noise with it at all. So I sat up and licked my lips and blew into it, and I got this enormously irritating sound out of it, upon which, hearing, the hair of the group that day decided to get up and form an ad hoc naming committee, and I was named Blowjob. So, being a fairly masculine guy and 6'4", and it didn't go over real well with me, but then again, nobody cared.
That's hilarious.
So how would somebody like one of us, if we wanted to do this, do we just come or do we have to go through some type of initiation?
No, there's no initiation. You just show up whenever you show up, and I cordially extend an open invitation to all of you there.
Definitely.
To attend the next Cleveland Hash, which you can find at the Cleveland Hash Harrier webpage, which is right up there on the internet. I left a link for it, Errol, at your Facebook page.
Okay.
So if you just link on that, you will see the schedule of runs, and you're all welcome to come down and join us and have a beer or two or more.
Now, Jay, do we have to go through some woods? You know, brothers in woods, they don't get together.
Black people in woods don't mix.
Do we got to go through woods, man?
You may have to go through things that you have never before in your life thought.
Oh my goodness.
We run through gutters, we run under bridges, we run in tunnels, we run through the woods, we run in riverbeds. Any place that you can think of for a trail is where the trail will go.
Oh, my God. Now, what about the songs you guys sing? There's some traditional songs you guys sing also, right?
Well, the songs are, let me see, they're politically incorrect. I guess that would be the best way to state it. They can be about anything that you can imagine drunk people would sing about. However, their roots are traditionally based in what are known as traditional rugby songs. Okay. So they're always about drinking. They're always about your perverted sexual practices. And any other nasty thing that you can possibly imagine. There's one line in one song that particularly comes to mind, and it's a favorite of mine. And that line is, "Your sister can suck start a Harley."
Wow. That sounds very unsportsmanlike conduct.
This is for us. We're at the next one for sure.
We're going to do a hash. I'm definitely going to do this run hash. Man. I don't know. How many miles is this, usually?
Usually it's between, depending on the physical agility of the hare, it's anywhere between, if he's a real wimp or not, 2 miles, up to, there are events that are what we refer to as anal events, which happen once a year or so. They can be up to 15 miles long.
Oh, wow. I can do the 2 miles.
Traditionally, they're somewhere between 3 and 5 miles.
Wow. Okay.
I can do 2 or 3.
And you won't get past the first beer check.
Oh, you crazy.
I don't know if I'd make it.
It's running for beer motivation.
Well, tell everybody if you have a number.
You don't have to. Let me make this really clear. You don't have to run. You can walk. There are people who walk the entire hash and never
There we go. That makes it even better.
Gotta love America. I
That's
tell you.
right above what I want to do. Walk.
This actually has to be. This is one of the greatest organizations I have ever heard, man. I want to be a part of that.
Fun.
Now, what's that website again, Jay? That if people want to be a part of this, what is the website they
All
go
you
to?
need to do, if you go to Google, just Google Cleveland Hash House Harriers.
Okay, Cleveland Hash House Harriers.
And knowing that you have an audience that is probably nationwide by this point, if you go to Google and you type in the name of your city, Hash House Harriers, whichever city it may be, you will find a group of hashers in your city.
Wow.
All right.
We're there.
We are there, man.
I love
it. Great conversation.
Absolutely. Please, accept my invitation. I'll have you show up. We'd love to have you.
We'd definitely be there. Well, I'll be keeping in touch with you, man. Find out when his next hasher is, and we're there, definitely. We're bringing the whole Cleveland Talk Sports family. Everybody. All right.
Outstanding. Make sure that you're thirsty.
Yeah, we're always thirsty.
I'm always thirsty. Beer is right up my alley. Take care, Jay.
Good.
We appreciate it.
All right, Jay Seago, Princess Blowjob. We'll talk to you soon.
I would just like to say this to any hashers that may be listening. On.
We'll find out later.
Yeah, we'll find out when we run.
All right.
Take care, Jay.
Take care, Jay. We'll be back with more.